give you guys a heads up. So you guys say, nah, stay on. Take that out. All right. Yeah. I'm waiting for Miss Hammond to get on here. I think we'll start rolling. She had a hard time getting on. Well, actually, she couldn't get on last month. How you doing, Miss Hammond? There she is.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm in. Thank you.
All right. Great. Glad to hear it. Okay. Hey, now that you're here, we can start the meeting.
Okay.
All right. Hey, it's May 11th, 2021. This is, what is this? The Penn Branch Community Association monthly meeting. I'm Stan Benton, the president. And here we go. I think first off is Officer Maribel. If Maribel is in a good spot, he's on his cell phone right now in his car. Hey, Officer Maribel, how you doing?
I'm good. I was just conducting. I was on leave this week, but they asked me to conduct the meeting. I said I got it covered. I'm not unfortunately, you're all hanging.
Well, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, you're breaking up a little bit, but I think we can get by with the way you are.
Okay. For the last, let me first start off. We have a new inspector. That's running the substation. He couldn't be with us today because he was in he had to get called out to respond to email address. His
okay.
And that's spelled S as in Sam.
Yeah, it's Officer Maribel.
L as in Lincoln, V as in Victor, A as in L.
Yeah, it's totally breaking up. It's like we cut like every other word maybe at the most.
Breaking up.
Nope.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Officer Maribel. So this is Tia Ellis. I'm in the Office of Communications at MPD. So what Officer Maribel was saying was that we have Officer Maribel out.
So I'll go lift somebody else up.
Yeah, Officer Maribel, I'll just chime into what you were trying to announce. So this is Tia Ellis. I am the supervisor of community outreach at MPD. So what Officer Maribel was saying was that we have a new inspector at the 6th district, and he will provide oversight to the sub station. So he will be the second in command at 6D. So you'll have Commander Habibla, and then her second in command will be Inspector Sylvan Altieri, and he was previously the 6D captain for Sector 1. And he is now the inspector. And Officer Maribel was trying to provide his name and his email, and I'll put that in the chat box.
Hey, appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess Officer Maribel, I guess we'll go to see if you can get to a different spot. That'd be cool. And then we'll move on to next item on our list, and that would be Marie, the reading of the minutes. How you doing, Marie?
Good. Hi, everybody. Okay. I'm trying to like manage all the documents I have on my screen. Sorry about that. I'll go through the minutes from the April 13th meeting. Officer Maribel completed the public safety report in PSA 605. He indicated that we're down in every category in terms of crime compared to last year's statistics. There were 16 crimes, 0 homicides, 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, 5 thefts from autos, and 15 property crimes. But in Penn Branch, there were 4 crimes. There were motor vehicle theft on N Street Southeast, and a theft from an auto on 37th Place. Also a theft from an auto on Carpenter Street. That was the rims and tires that were taken from the vehicle. And theft from auto in the Penn Branch shopping center. The doors were unlocked and a wallet was stolen there were purchases made with the card. He also shared that there is radar speed policing on Penn Branch Ave, at Branch Ave Southeast towards Randall Circle, and they're trying to do more traffic enforcement, especially related to drivers not stopping for pedestrians at intersections and in crosswalks. Mo Williams read the Treasury report. The balance at the end of last month was $2,346.99. Our president, Stan Benton, discussed how the Anacostia Watershed Society awarded a grant to the Penn Branch Community Association that Joe McKenzie applied for on behalf of the association. And he announced the planting day on May 15th. Faith Broderick from the Office of Planning spoke briefly about the April Office of Planning Town Hall related to the small area plan for the Pennsylvania Ave Southeast Small Area Plan. And after I read the minutes, I'll put a link into the chat for how residents can participate in a survey and online community visioning process for the small area plan through the Office of Planning. And then we had a long conversation with Tony Start from Jared Lynch Realty. He gave an update on the Penn Branch Shopping Center project. He announced that Highlands Cafe is still planning to use the retail space next to the gym to open an all-day cafe and coffee shop. The Star Pizza owner sold the business, and Jared Lynch is in negotiations with another food operator. Jared Lynch is also in negotiations with another business for a juice bar or some kind of related concept, and a small restaurant in one space. He also indicated that after CVS moves to the adjacent property where the laundromat was located, that space where CVS is going to be divided into multiple spaces. He said the upstairs office space is fully leased with 4 different companies. And Jared Lynch also applied for a special request from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And currently our zone, or the zone where the shopping center is, only allows fast food restaurants with a special exemption. And so they have to meet certain conditions to get the exception, such as no drive-through. So the BZA hearing is scheduled for May 19th. And then I think our president Stan indicated that that's actually been pushed to June now. And so Jared Lynch already obtained support from the local ANC, and they were seeking the support of our community association. And then we had a lengthy discussion between members and Mr. Start. So that covers probably the key issues that we covered at the last meeting. Is there a motion to enter the minutes into the record as read?
Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes? Anybody have any corrections?
No.
And I think, Stan, I think you can just approve the meeting minutes. Is that right, Cicely? I don't think we need a motion, right?
I think we have had in the past the motions and seconds to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes. This is Joan McKenzie.
I second the motion. Roma Battle.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Roma, and thank you, Marie. All right, hey, next up we have the treasurer, Mo Williams. How you doing, Mo? How much money we got?
We're doing good. 250 was deposited into the account as of 4:30 last month. The total we currently have is $25.96 and 99 cents. Sorry about the background. Again, my little ones are jumping up and down.
Yeah, it's quite all right. Quite all right. I think a couple months ago, I threw out there that, well, actually, the board threw out there that we were interested in bringing back the dance. But the thing about that dance is that it's expensive, or it has been in the past. Yeah, and so that's what I'm trying to say here is so if we have more money in our account, so we're going to try and get some more money in that account so that we can bring that dance on. Have that dance. All right. Next up, it's hey, I guess it's me, the black captain. Hang on one second. I'm sorry. Yeah. And okay, hey, yeah. So we have a new block captain. I don't see him here today, but we have a new block captain on the 3400 block of Highwood Drive, which is way cool. I was delivering newsletters to. Actually, I do deliver the newsletters to the blocks that don't have captains. So while I was delivering to his block, Keith just came outside. His name's Keith Hooks. Keith just came outside and he's like, "Come on, dude, man, come on, Mr. President, don't you have any people?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I sure don't." And so then he said, you know, he would volunteer to do it. So that was cool, and he did. So that's way cool. So if you see Keith, show him hello and thank you, please. Okay, next up we have Joan, if you don't mind. Joan, you ready to give?
So where's Paul? I see Paul on the agenda.
Paul asked me to like put him after you.
Oh, okay, sure.
Don't know. Hey, but hey, I should first say that Joan here, she, like I said last month, Joan not only got the grant, but she's also managing the project. And then she filled out, then she applied for another grant, and she also, what did she do? You donated money for the cleanup of the park. All right. So she did all this. She did all this with show me your hand. Do you have your cast on with a broken wrist? Oh, it's looking better. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting better. Getting better in time for the cleanup on Saturday. So hopefully I can do some work.
So I want to hear. So Joan, I do believe Joan is our MVP of the month, Penn Branch MVP of the month. So thank you, Joan. So go ahead with your.
What's the prize, Stan? What's the prize?
Beautiful garden.
Okay.
And all of our thanks.
Okay.
We'll come up with something.
I'll take it. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm really excited for this Saturday. We got a great weather report, which is always, welcome. So that is really, really going to be fantastic. We are going to be meeting at 9 a.m. at the park. The event goes from 9 to noon. And basically, we will be planting plants that were given to us by the Anacostia Watershed Society as part of the grant. And we will also be doing weeding, and picking up trash in the area. So what we need to do is everyone show up as early as you can. Bring your gardening tools. If you don't need to bring gloves because Sylvester Bush has donated a bunch of gloves. He's also donated masks. Although if you have a favorite gardening glove, you can bring your own gardening glove, as well as tools. I think it's either DDOT or DPW. I'm not sure. Alberta could clarify, but Alberta was able to arrange a delivery of trash bags. And then also they will be coming back and picking up at the end of the event. So they'll be picking up all the trash bags. It's probably DPW. So from Anacostia Watershed Society, we have a landscaper that he works for them, and he's been assisting us with the project. He is selecting the plants, and he's going to be delivering them on the 14th. So the day before the event. He's going to be giving us mulch, 7 shrubs, 12 gallon-sized plants, 24 quart-sized plants, and I believe he's also going to be donating some tools that we can use. So it's really a wonderful thing that they're doing for us, and I really think it's going to be just a successful event. I also want to give a shout out to Peter Baines. He lives across the street on Carpenter Street, and he does a landscaping service. He cut all the weeds for us last week, Tuesday, and he did a really good job. He also cut along the O Street wall side, and he said there was a lot of trash that he removed. So the park now is in good shape for planting. We will have to do some weeding, but at least all the high weeds are out, and there was a dead tree which he cut down for us. So we'll be in good shape Saturday to plant, and there are some dead shrubs that we'll have to remove, but for the most part, the heavy work has been done. for Saturday, the work plan, aside from weed removal, we could use some weed spray. I don't have any, and I know the park hasn't been sprayed for weeds. So if anyone has weed spray, you can bring that. And I think also we could probably buy some if we don't, if nobody has any extra, because weeds are a real problem at the park. And my goal would be to control it by planting enough ground cover and, good plants that we want, that they would keep them down so that we really don't have to use too many chemicals. But right now, we basically have a lot of grass and just bare dirt. So it's like open season for weeds. Another thing that I thought would be good is we could have kind of like a, sort of like a mini swap meet. If people have gardening supplies that they extra, supplies that they want to get rid of, we could put them out by the Penn branch table, and then people could just, feel free to pick up, take. And then at the end of the day, if nobody takes your stuff, you can just take it back. But I think that would be neat to have a mini swap meet. And then Stan has offered to have he's going to bring a table out there, and he will bring water and healthy snacks. So we will be providing that courtesy of Stan and Penn Branch.
Did I really volunteer healthy snacks? I don't remember that part.
Yeah, remember we talked about
All
mandarins.
right. All right.
Mandarins
The water.
and I think apples, right?
Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right.
We talked about
All right,
that.
cool.
Yeah, okay. I'll help you if you need help, Stan.
I'm good. I'm good.
Another great thing, Mrs. P was able to get power to the site. So now we actually have Pepco has supplied power to the site. So we can use power tools, and we can also light it.
They haven't actually. It's not there yet, but it's hopefully soon. The power.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my bad. I thought that we actually had it there, and then our neighbor to the up the hill, Victoria, the first house on Carpenter Street from the garden, she has graciously offered to let us use her yard to store the plants, from between when they get delivered and when we install them. And she's also allowing us to use her water so that we can water them after we install the plants. So that's really a great thing. Shout out to Victoria.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, that's a huge benefit to us. And then lastly, we will be getting from Anacostia Watershed Society a nice sign with pollinators that frequent gardens like ours, and the sign won't be delivered in time for Saturday, but we will be getting it shortly thereafter, and we'll put that up, and it's actually a cute little sign. It would be interesting for kids that visit and anyone who wants to look and see what the pollinators are. And the other thing that I like is that it does give recognition to the Anacostia Watershed Society as being a patron of the garden. And their interest in gardens such as ours is that it benefits the Anacostia River in just benefiting the ecosystem and allowing water to drain into the soil rather than running off in the street and carrying bad stuff into the river. So that's one of the reasons why they were willing to give us a grant. And I think going forward, we will be planning ongoing maintenance events for the park so that we can keep it nice and keep the plants alive. And we do, I did, as Stan said, I did apply for another grant. This one was from AARP, and I'm hoping to get money to replace the bench as well as upgrade the walkways in the park. Right now, it's a lot of loose stones. It's a little bit slippery. And so we would like to upgrade that with additional grant money. And also Paul, I think Paul is running a fundraiser, or Penn Branch is running a fundraiser. And we have actually raised, I think $600 or more towards replacing the bench. So feel free to donate money to Penn Branch to supplement our bench replacement and path replacement effort. And that's it. So I hope to see all of you on Saturday at some point, helping out to work on the park and just have a good time with neighbors. That's
Hey,
it.
sweet,
That's it. Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, thank you, John. And hey, and how is the rest? I haven't asked you lately.
Oh, it's doing much better, but it's still pretty stiff. So, you know, but
All right.
hopefully it'll be in shape for digging and planting on.
I hope so, but you know, lay low. You know, we can get that. All right. Thanks, John.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Hey, I see Officer Maribel is back. Yeah. Hey, Officer Maribel, you ready to roll? And you're muted. Can't hear you. There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so the crime stats for the last 30 days, as a follow, we're down again, which is great. From a year ago, we had 23 crimes. We're at 19 now for the patrol service area 605. As it stands, we have 0 homicides, 0 sex abuse cases. We had 3 assault with dangerous weapon cases. We had 2 robberies, 0 burglaries, 3 theft from autos, 5 thefts, 6 stolen autos, and 0 arsons. Okay, in the Penn Branch community, over the last 30 days, there were 2 reported crimes. One of the crimes happened on April the 29th, around 3:23 p.m. in the afternoon. It was at the 7-Eleven at 3218 Pennsylvania Avenue, where a young man walked into 7-Eleven and stole a cup. He stole a Solo cup. I'm not sure what that is exactly. I guess it's one of those, like maybe a coffee cup, coffee mug or something. So he stole a cup and walked out the store. The second crime, which was more of a serious nature, was May the 5th. And that location was 33rd Place and M Street, Southeast. And this happened at 1:48 p.m. That was a robbery. And that was a case where a young lady was walking, minding her own business. A car pulled up beside her to engage her in conversation, and they was trying to get her phone number. And she agreed to give the driver her phone number, but as she got closer to the car, the passenger reached out and snatched her iPhone, and they drove off. So that was their motive in that. They wasn't interested in getting her phone number. They just wanted to snatch her phone. So they snatched her phone and drove off and got away. But I believe that vehicle, we did have a tag on that vehicle. So that's being followed through on that vehicle. And that was the 2 crimes that was in the Penn Branch community. The rest of the crimes were just scattered. No crime trends or patterns in the crime. So we're just waiting to see. And as I was trying to state earlier, we do have a new inspector, and he had to respond to a shooting this evening on B Street Southeast. So he wasn't able to attend because he was looking forward to it. So he said he will be at the next meeting to introduce himself to everyone.
Hey, Maribel.
Yes.
Hey, it's Inspector Altieri, man. What's up? Sorry, I just got
Hey.
clear. I just wanted to reach out to everybody. Hey, everybody. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of last minute, and I didn't mean to interrupt Maribel because he is awesome, and I know he always does the meetings, and we're going to continue that trend. I just wanted to reach out and say hi to everyone. Yeah, we did shooting on B Street. It looks like it's non-fatal, so that's good. It's adult male. They were transported to area hospital. So we'll be investigating that. I'm really happy to be at the substation, working with guys like Maribel and Prasad and everybody who's doing a lot for the community. I'll share my information with you all in the chat. And I will definitely be in the next meeting with Maribel as well. But I just wanted to reach out and say hello. And let y'all know I'm here and I'm happy to be working with everybody. And thanks, Marble. I appreciate it.
That's
Man.
great. Hey,
No
thank
problem,
you.
sir. Okay. So any questions from anyone?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Any questions? I don't see any. Cool.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, thank you for your time, Penn Branch community.
Hey, thank you. And thanks for making it happen.
Thank you, Officer Marble, and don't you go nowhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. That's the first time I heard from Miss Paul, and I don't know how long, like months at the meeting. But anyway. Okay, hey, next up is Paul. Paul's going to talk about your oral history project.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul. Just wanted to let you know, roughly 2 weeks ago, an oral history proposal that we submitted to my wife Tracy and I submitted to the DC Humanities was accepted, and they fully funded the project to record, to document, to do oral histories of the Penn Branch community. The project we proposed was called We Are Penn Branch DC. And it actually came about from a conversation that I had back 5 years ago with Daryl Baker, a former Penn Branch resident. And we even went as far as to do one interview back in 2015, but life happened and we got busy, he moved away and things kind of fell apart. But with the current board, there was a lot of motivation around it. And we decided to go for it again and reboot. And particularly after COVID, it sort of drove home the fact that we really do need to collect our stories and make certain that we can share them and preserve the stories of our community, because we can easily lose people. So so we did get full funding for the project, and we're hoping to get between 10 and 12 interviews of personal stories filmed. We are filming the interviews. We plan that's between now and October 1st. This cycle will actually close for this part of this phase of the work on November 31st, but we'd like to finish all of the filmed interviews by October 1st. This project right now, this phase of it will focus on the period, those who were residents before 1968. We want to get as many of our most senior residents as we can, or who are willing to speak with us and give us a few hours of their time to tell their stories. The stories will be shared on the website, on the Penn Branch website. They will also be, we are working, the board, we're all trying to figure out if once COVID is over or we are beyond the pandemic restrictions, maybe we can set up some sort of public event to do a screening of these stories in some form. The reasons, again, going back to that date up to 1968, we just want to make certain that, I think I already said that we wanted to get our most senior residents, but also we know that there were some changes in US housing policy around that same time, also the DC riots. So we thought that was a good cap, and then maybe we could do a phase 2 and go back and look at the next generation and then so forth and so on. So we'd like to encourage everyone to participate. We want as many stories as we can possibly get. I'm going to type my information in the chat for everyone. You can reach out to me anytime. You can give me a call. My phone number, 202-888-3236. And I'll put my email in the chat for everyone. And please reach out, or if you have a neighbor or have a parent or you yourself would like to share your personal story, we greatly appreciate it. These stories will also be archived at the DC Public Library, so it'll be a part of their permanent collection. So again, we hope that we get a good response. So thanks so much for your time.
Way cool. All right. Hey, thank you, Paul. Any questions for Paul? No, did such a great job covering it. All right. And really, Paul, no communications like update. No, we're good.
At the moment, we're good.
All right.
Look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday.
All right, cool. Great. All right. Hey, next up we have Letitia Atkins. She's with the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street. And she's going to talk about economic development, community economic development. How you doing, Letitia?
I'm well, Stan. I want to create I love to create healthy expectations. Not so much I'll be talking about economic development, but I am here to kind of give you an update on the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street, our work. what we've accomplished and goals are. Am I able to share my screen?
Ooh, you will be in a second.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't think about that earlier. And I just made you a co-host.
Okay, all right. I got a PowerPoint I'd just like to share with you all. If you like me, I'm a visual person, so I like to read along as I go along. All right, can everyone see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's I know I've come to a few of your past meetings and just provided updates. I think this evening's presentation should give you a pretty good high-level view of Main Street 101, what our goals are, what we're tasked with doing, both from the national level and the local level, and kind of some of the fun things we've been doing along the way, and moving forward, how we can involve you as our neighbors and our supporters and advocates for the program. So again, my name is Letitia Atkins. I am the director of the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street program. We are a program housed in the Marshall Heights Community Development Organization. A few of you may have worked directly with Babatunde Olayende, our CEO, David Retland, our board chair, doing the planning process before this program even came to fruition. You may know a little bit about the history, but one, I want to just come before you and say thank you to all of the countless hours that you as advocates have displayed in terms of showing up and requesting that Pennsylvania Avenue receive the resources and the support and become an actual Main Street. So thank you so much for your hard work, your efforts. It is not in vain because this is your program, right? We are just trusted with ensuring that we are implementing the program in the right way, okay? So feel free to ask questions as I go along. I'll try to give a little bit of historical context as well as again, looking at our goals and objectives over at least the first year. So move this up here a little bit. The DC Main Streets program, it's 26 Main Streets in the District of Columbia. We make up one of the newest Main Streets. Our Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street as well as Chevy Chase. We were the most recent inducted Main Streets into the program. As you know, Councilmember Gray, as a result of the advocacy that many of you did with Councilmember Gray, he was successful in getting the monies placed in the FY21 budget for the Main Street, the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street. And in October of 2020, Marshall Heights, along with the Ward 7 Business Partnership, was awarded that contract to again implement the work of the Main Street. I was hired in November of 2020, so I'm about halfway through our first year. We actually are very, very pleased because we had a meeting last week with our funder, the Department of Small and Local Business Development, and happy to report that we have not only met our first year benchmarks, but we have exceeded many of them. So we do anticipate closing the first year out, very successfully and looking forward to moving into our next fiscal year. So there are 3 Main Streets in Ward 7. There's the Deanwood Heights Main Street, which borders the Nanny Helen Burroughs community quarter. Then there's the Minnesota Avenue Main Street, and again, the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street. We have done a lot of work jointly and collaboratively because again, the end game is to support our retail quarters. In each Main Street, the overarching mission is to support the traditional retail quarter in that district. So our boundaries start at the foot of the John P. Sousa Bridge, going all the way down to Southern Avenue Southeast. So we actually oversee our actually our program encompasses the entire Pennsylvania Avenue in Ward 7. So as you'll see, our mission, and I won't read it, but you feel free to read along. I just want to pull out a couple of key vital points from our mission. And that's one is that the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street's goal is to revitalize retail, retain and attract a diverse customer base, not only a customer base, but bringing people to the corridor, and also working with the community, its stakeholders and the businesses to strengthen the retail corridor. Okay, and you'll see our vision. Our goal of the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Street is to be a robust commercial corridor that contributes to the economic vitality of Ward 7 by offering an array of goods and services for neighborhoods, commuters, and visitors. And again, feel free to ask questions as I go along. So as indicated, we are part of not only the local Main Street, which is overseen by the Department of Small and Local Business Development, but we are also a part of a national effort, the National Main Streets America effort. And so that brings support to us. We are, linked into vital resources. We just completed a very extensive training with the National Main Street America. Myself and my advisory board members went through a month-long training around the 4-point model. And what the 4-point model essentially says is that these 4 points, each Main Street should have a focus on community revitalization through these 4 points. And that's organization, ensuring that we have strong leadership and organizational capacity, ensuring that we are engaging the community and actually listening to the voice of the community and incorporating those voices into our work plan, and strengthening our partnerships, because again, I'll talk a little bit about our budget, but we have a very small budget. So in order to get a lot of the things accomplished, we do need to lean on those partnerships. We do need to look for areas of synergy with other organizations, such as the Office of Planning's small area plan, and leveraging all of the resources that are being poured into the quarter to strengthen our work around community revitalization. Then that second prong of the approach is promotions, and that's all about making sure that we are promoting the quarter. One of the things that I always say, you will probably hear me say it a lot, you may get tired of me saying, is that my goal is to essentially make Pennsylvania Avenue not only a corridor where people drive through, but a corridor where people come to, right? We want people to come back to Pennsylvania Avenue, support the businesses, reimagine Pennsylvania Avenue, rediscover Pennsylvania Avenue. And we know that that may take some work on our end around promotions, branding, and improving the image of the corridor. Design is our third prong, and that's all about how are we designing the corridor? How are we making sure that the corridor, in order for folks to come to the corridor, how are we creating that inviting, aesthetically pleasing look for people to feel welcome, safe, and want to come over and support not only the businesses, the community, but also some of our natural resources that we have, such as the parks and those types of things, public space. And then our final prong is economic vitality. And that's, how are we supporting the businesses here? How are we ensuring that they have the support that they can remain here, they can thrive here? And then not only looking to support the businesses that are here, but how are we recruiting and recruiting new businesses to the quarter? And how are we helping those businesses, again, to thrive, expand, and be successful that are already here? So you'll notice that a theme throughout my presentation tonight is not only, me coming to share information with you about what we're doing, but also to hopefully get you all to be involved and some of the work that we're doing through volunteer opportunities. There is, I am the only staff person of the Pennsylvania Avenue East Main Streets. We have a very small budget. The Department of Small and Local Business Development, DSLBD, they provide us with a base amount, and that's $200,000 for the first year. And we have to fundraise for anything additional. And you'll see some of the things that we want to do will require us to fundraise. But before we even get there, we need folks to help kind of lift some of the work that we're doing. And our committees are divided based upon those 4 prongs, those four Main Street focal points. And the organization committee is chaired by our very own ANC Commissioner Tiffany Brown. And again, this committee is all about ensuring that we are in line with both the national and the local Main Street models, that we have strong foundation, that we have leadership such as myself. So this was the committee responsible for identifying the director, doing the search and hiring. So this is all about, again, our foundation. Some of the things that we're tasked with for our first year under the organization committee is we've established a website. We've also established our mission and our vision statement. Again, engaging the community, ensuring that the community is involved in our work. So this committee is responsible for designing and publishing a quarterly newsletter and distributing that to the community so that you all are kept abreast of what we're doing and how you can get involved and stay involved. And also ensuring that we are kind of doing traveling road shows, going out and sharing with funders. Again, because I talked about that small budget of $200,000, we have a very, extensive fundraising plan. We want to raise, upwards of $100,000, maybe not this year, but post-COVID, we're looking at raising the dollars necessary to do the work that we need to do. And so this committee will be responsible for going out and sharing information about our program. We just hosted a volunteer recruitment meeting last month to get more volunteers. So we'll continue that effort because, again, this work will require many hands. And that way we can ensure that we have the voices of the community along the process, and it's not just me doing the work. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want to know about the tobacco outlet that's in the community. I don't know how it got by the ANC and the Civic Association, but it's not conducive to the neighborhood because we don't want to get the teens hooked on drugs. Plus, it's next door to a daycare, and nearly a third of teens use more of one tobacco product. So how did that happen?
Well,
Could you enlighten me on that, please?
The unfortunate thing is businesses, when they relocate into the community, we are not an organization that says, yes, you can come into the organization or no, you can't. So
no, ma'am.
And my assumption is just, that's just a market. They saw vacant space and then they rented the space. Now, one of the things that we are responsible for doing is meeting with all of our business owners, and a couple of things that we do. One, we want to make sure that if there is a business that is not operating within the guidelines of the laws, that we work with them to ensure that they are operating within those guilines. Tobacco is legal.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is it shouldn't be in the community. How did it get past the ANC, the Civic Association? It's not conducive for the neighborhood. How is that going to help the neighborhood and the young kids, people that it's just not good for the neighborhood? So how did that happen? They just can't come and rent a space.
I'm sorry.
Wait, let me say this. They just can't come and rent a space and come into our neighborhood without people knowing what's going on. So that means the ANC should have known. City Council, Vincent Gray should have been informed about it. It's not conducive. I'm just having a problem with that. Now I know they tried. Excuse me.
I said, I totally understand. I mean,
Okay.
the unfortunate thing, I don't want to get off track, but I do want to be able to, I mean, we have to hold our leaders accountable. And in this case, I
Amen.
am not a part of the ANC. And I quite frankly,
I understand.
I don't know if they even had to go through the ANC for approval.
I'm surprised they didn't have to. They go through it for everything else. Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off with these rules. Okay.
I understand. So again, this is good dialogue, because this is what we are here to do. We are here because, again, we're 7 months in. And so a part of our work is to come to the community, work with the community, to hear your opinions and your voices on what types of businesses you want to see here. Now, again, my hands are somewhat tied because, as I indicated, a part of my mission is to support retail along the corridor. So that may mean supporting, the good and ensuring that the not so good are in alignment with the laws of the District of Columbia. Now, as far as I know, I have not had an opportunity to meet with that business owner just yet. However, they are on my list to discuss just kind of what their needs are. But because tobacco is not an illegal substance, they're not operating an illegal business. So all that I can do is ensure that they're not selling tobacco to minors, which would be illegal, and that as much as we may not want them here, they are here. And so again, how do we work with them to ensure that they are operating within the confines of the law? And that and then on the flip side of that is, how are we attracting the types of businesses that we want to see here? I will say this: COVID-19 has done a tremendous has had a tremendous impact on businesses across the city, but more so here in this ward. I right now know of at least an entire shopping center along the corridor where all of those businesses could essentially be evicted as soon as the restrictions are relaxed. So what that means to us is now we are beginning to shift our, I guess, our approach. It may not, we like to think that we're like, we're triaging, right? Those businesses that we can save, we're working diligently to make sure they have the supports that they need to be able to stay here and be successful. And those businesses that we can't, we're beginning to again, shift our thinking around how are we attracting new businesses to the corridor. So I just ask that you continue to be patient with us as we go through this process. We're 7 months in. So again, when we came in, we were in the midst of COVID-19. So our goal was to really get in, assess the needs of the community, and see how we can help keep our retail corridor intact as much as possible. But we're realizing that that will not be the reality for some businesses, and that could be some of those businesses that we don't want here. It may just mean that they are being moved out and being replaced with businesses that we do want to see. So I will save that, Stan, if you want to talk to your ANC around, how that business got here. But again,
can I interject? I have the answer. First and foremost, the business, as you all know, was empty. It used to be a travel business, and then it became a tax business. The tax business left shortly after COVID shutdown started on March 18th. There is no law on the books that require the ANC or the council member or our distinguished guest tonight to be notified by the owner who he or she is leasing to, as long as the business that's being proffered is a legal business under the codes of the District of Columbia. So nobody was notified, nobody had to be notified. What I think we're getting positive now, we have a spokesperson who will be interacting with those businesses. For years, nobody knew who owned the business that kept getting empty and now is something we don't want. So we should give Tish the opportunity over the next 6 to 8 months to learn who really owns the business. And maybe she can engage and quietly off, because she can't do it directly, because she'll get in trouble with the leaser now that we don't want. But maybe she can engage with the owner and potentially get some other things to occur within the next 18 to 2 years. But nobody had to be notified. So I just don't want us as citizens to be blaming the ANC, Tish, or the council member. By law, the owner could lease it to anybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Paul. And we'll talk a little bit about, kind of how we might be able to help in those areas as we go through the PowerPoint. So
I have a follow-up question about that. Yes, I just have a question real quick about the tobacco store. In terms of regulations and health concerns, the tobacco store is, like she said, the proximity to the daycare. There's no guidelines or regulations how close a business can be to a daycare.
I don't believe
not currently.
Yeah.
I looked it up because Carolyn called me about 3 weeks ago and we had a short conversation. So I did look up the regulations. The answer is no.
Okay, even through the Surgeon General. Huh. Okay. All right.
Okay. So our second committee is the promotions committee, and this is chaired by Earl Williams. And again, the promotions committee is tasked with ensuring that we have a positive image along the Pennsylvania Avenue corridor. And so some of those things that I don't see a name of the speaker who was just posing those questions around the tobacco store is, those are some of the things that we can work again to attract new businesses along the corridor, the types of businesses, the types of quality businesses that we actually want here. And a part of that is making sure that we have a positive image of the corridor. For a long time, folks were, just Ward 7, certain pockets of Ward 7, certain pockets of our communities east of the river are seen as just places where, we don't have quality retail. And so I think the fact that we are designated Main Street can help change that image. The fact that we are going through a small area planning process can help change that image. Some of the things that I know Faith Broderick is doing along with the Office of Planning is they are surveying community residents, community stakeholders around some of the things you want to see happen along the corridor. We're using that data to help us in planning in our planning efforts. For instance, creating placemaking activities, things that will bring, again, folks over to the corridor. We'll talk a little bit about data. We're collecting that data so that we can then begin to engage retail brokers. And then that way we're having the conversation early on, because these are probably conversations that were not had in the past. I am not certain, I'm not saying they were not, but the Main Street can help elevate those conversations because that is what we do. So we want to, we're gathering data now, and we'll be taking that data to retail brokers to say to them, these are the types of businesses we want along the corridor. These are the types of businesses we don't want. And so then we'll be able to kind of do our own branding, because left alone, the market will determine what we get. And as you saw, we had a business like a tobacco business that just emerged. I walk Pennsylvania Avenue. I live in Fairfax Village, so I see the corridor on a daily basis. And when I was walking, it just popped up. We had no notification. And again, I'm not even certain if the ANC knew it was coming, but it probably took most of us by surprise that it was there. And so we want to be able to kind of, have those relationships with property owners, so that when they are vetting businesses, they can contact us and say, hey, we're thinking about this business coming into this property. What do you think, or how do you think the community will perceive it? So those are the relationships we are trying to build. And so hope so that in the future, we won't have these types of businesses just springing up out of nowhere. So again, that goes to how we promote the quarter. How do people outside of the ward, outside of the community see our quarter? Do they see it as a viable option to come over and relocate their business, where they will be supported by the community, not only the community, but people who visit as well. So again, 7 months in, we know we have a heavy lift and we need you all to help us in this work. So if you want to join the promotions committee, the organizations committee, you'll have my information at the end of the presentation where you can reach out to me and we can begin to have these types of conversations. So as you'll see under the promotions committee, we host events to bring people to the quarter. We just did a wonderful event this past Saturday, the Taste Award 7, where we were highlighting our restaurants, our food services in the ward. And we decided to focus on the food industry first because we know we are in a food desert. However, we do have some diversity in the ward. And in order to get more restaurants to want to come here, we have to show that we're supporting what we already have here. Because if I go out and try to recruit another business, they're going to want to know, how does the community support those businesses that are already there? And through these types of events that we're having, bringing people out to support Mimi's Ethiopian barbecue, our Granny's Kitchen, not just, again, the restaurants here, but we involved our sister main streets, Minnesota Avenue and Deanwood Heights main streets. Again, so that people see that they do have some options, but let's support the options that we do have, if at all possible. So the third committee is the design committee. Now, this is kind of where some of that work could happen that you were speaking about in terms of attracting those types of businesses we want. This is chaired by Kendrick Curry, Reverend Curry of the Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church. And what we're doing here, if you look at this bottom prong, we're going to begin to develop design guidelines. We know that eventually with the development that's coming along Pennsylvania Avenue, the Main Streets approach is based on a development through a historical preservation lens. So we're not saying that we're coming in to essentially change the entire makeup of the community. One, we want to preserve the historic context of the community and build on those positive images, those positive opportunities that we already have going on. So we're going to look at what type of design guidelines could we put in place, which says to a new development that you cannot build outside of these guidelines, because we want to maintain the character and the personality of the corridor. And this is going to be where you all as residents and key stakeholders come into place, again, having your voice around what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So these are efforts where you can join and get involved and stay involved. And then our final committee is the Economic Vitality Committee, and it's chaired by Ramiz Manwar of Jair Lynch Real Estate Partners. And this is where I said, we look at the data. We're actually in the process of having a market analyst completed through John Stover and Associates. And they actually do all of the market analysis for the main streets throughout the district. So they're a trusted source. And once we have that data, we're going to come back to the community. That data will essentially say, these are the types of businesses that are highly probable to succeed based on the demand, the need, the income, the income and those types of perceptions. We also look at surveying you all to see what types of things that you want to do, or you want to see along the corridor, surveying our businesses to determine their needs. And again, at that last bottom point, this is where the main streets can be helpful in a situation such as that tobacco store. We provide educational seminars for businesses. So if a business is operating outside of, not necessarily, again, if they're doing anything illegal, our role is to come in and to help stop that illegal activity. If they're operating within the guidelines of the law and the parameters of the law, and maybe they're maybe they're not clean, maybe they're not, maybe I'm getting complaints that they have a lot of trash, they're not maintaining the outside of their structures, then we go in and we work with them to make sure that they are up to code. We will try to do that in a nice way to make sure that we're working with them to support them. But if not, I have worked in the mayor's office for many years, so I know how to navigate the district's DCRA systems and all of those processes where we need to enforce laws, we can. So again, educating first and then enforcing second if need be. And one of the things that we are looking to do is actually bringing the property owners, not the businesses, the property owners to the table, again, to have those discussions with them around what we want to see and what we don't want to see, so that they can be a part of this process also. And so some of the things that we have done, 7 months in, we've done quite a bit. First things first is we had to ensure that the program was operating within the guidelines of the national Main Streets and the DC Main Streets model. So we, again, extensive trainings, making sure we're staffed, making sure we are, we have those foundational pieces together. Established presence along the corridor, making sure the businesses know that we're here. We are our support to them. Again, a Main Street can be an attractive feature for a business thinking about relocating, because they will see the supports that they will get through the technical assistance, funding opportunities. As you'll see, since January, I provided 101 hours in small business technical assistance to 24 of those businesses located along the Pennsylvania Avenue corridor. That technical assistance ranged from sub-grants, giving small grants to some businesses. We're working with the Addison Auto Parts to do some facade improvements to kind of make sure the outside is aesthetically pleasing. So helping to do that, we've identified some other properties that could use that facelift, and we're pursuing that through a vendor to help do those improvements. We've also helped with grant writing, promotions and marketing, purchasing equipment for restaurants such as Mimi's Ethiopian Barbecue, Thai Orchid, and again, just supporting those businesses where they need help. We've paid rent for some businesses. We've helped to pay for some staffing, just so that those businesses can have some level of reprieve, especially in light of COVID. We've also established our advisory board. We have 6 members now, and these are the members. Most of you may recognize some of the names. We are bringing on more businesses as well, because we want to make sure we have the voices of the businesses, because we do support retail. That is our ultimate mission, to support retail along the corridors. We have our committees established, and we're ready to get them staffed with volunteers so that we can move forward with doing some of the work. Again, looking at our volunteer recruitment efforts, we hosted a volunteer recruitment meeting, and we have established fundraising goals. Again, with the design aspect of the work that we are tasked with doing, we want to add to that. So fundraising is going to be critical for us to be able to do more work, to be able to do more lifts and more facade improvements, again, to kind of beautify the corridor, for lack of a better word. We know that there are some nodes of the corridor that are not as fancy as other portions of it, and we want to pour more resources into those portions of the corridor. For instance, down the lower node, 2900, 23, 2400 blocks of Pennsylvania Avenue, where the Lee's Liquor is. We're working to pay a little more attention there, to make sure that that corridor is getting the attention that it needs. And again, we've gone through extensive trainings to make sure we're operating within the guidelines. And as you'll see, that last bullet point, we are in the process of conducting that study to provide a quantitative analysis of the retail conditions, the local retail market, and especially the impact of COVID on business development. And once that's completed, we will be coming back to the community to share that along with John Stover and Associates, so that again, we can begin to then look at our long-term planning in terms of recruiting the businesses that we want, the types of development we want to see, and how we are ensuring that the community's voice are at the center of those conversations. And then I think I just have one more. That's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me with any, any specific questions. If you saw something that one of the committees that sparked your interest and you want to, you have the time, the talent, even the resources. If you want to make donations, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to come out, meet with you, have at-length conversations. Happy to come back and share updates every few months. However you all want me, to be available, I am at your I'm at your services. And so with that, I guess I can open it up to questions and go from there.
Anybody has a question, use the raise hand feature, please, on the reactions. And I'm going to go first. All right. Hey, you said you're going to, what kind of fundraisers are you doing that you're pulling in $100,000?
Well, we haven't pulled in $100,000 yet, but our funder, we've had some main streets that were very successful in pulling in those types of dollars. For instance, the Shaw Main Street. One of the things, and again, we realize, what we do may be different from certain other main streets because of our personality. Shaw Main Street is filled with a lot of bars. So it's really easy for them to do things like bar crawls and sell tickets and people and bringing people to the businesses, but also they get a portion. Developers tend to write hefty, fundraising checks, especially when they're doing projects along the corridor. We also, are looking at a homegrown strategy, reaching out to the community, make a $25 donation, maybe get a t-shirt, things such as that. But we are really looking at a strategy that will fit within our community.
All right, I asked because I was looking for ideas for us to fundraise for our association here. We could use $100,000. I see Joan McKenzie has a question.
Hi, yeah, thank you, Tish, for that presentation. That was very informative. I'm wondering what kind of, I guess, coordination do you have with the DDOT or, around things such as like the circulator? And because I know transportation is such a major issue along the corridor. So what kind of like, connections do you have with them so that you can kind of keep momentum going for getting that put in and making sure that the community remains tied in? I know that we did a survey, but just remains tapped into what actually we get. And the other thing is, I know that there's been a big push to redevelop the intersection of Minnesota and Penn. And so I was wondering what kind of like coordination do you have with that, whoever's doing that? I think it might be the Federal Highways or something, who's the Federal Department of Transportation. But I just wanted to make sure that everything is like coordinated, or at least that you're tapped into those types of transportation improvements efforts that are happening along Pennsylvania Avenue.
You're absolutely correct. Thank you, Joan, for that question. So, I love to paint realistic expectations. My goal is, my main mission is to support the retail corridor and to make sure businesses are supported along the corridor. Now, we know that transportation is critical because we need to get customers to those businesses, and having a multi-level mode of transportation outside of just cars, because our corridor, the car transportation sometimes is not conducive to supporting businesses. There's no parking. So when we have all these cars coming through Pennsylvania Avenue, a small portion of those cars probably actually get out, stop, and support the businesses. So your question is key in that. How do we support? We don't take the lead in any of that. However, we are here to support what the community wants and also what our businesses need. I just had a phone call. For instance, I used to work with Councilmember Gray's office. So have great relationships with that office, great relationships with a lot of the agencies such as DDOT. And we'll be meeting with Mrs. Paul actually put me in touch with the DDOT representative who's overseeing the Minnesota Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue redevelopment plan. And so for me, I'm looking at it again through the lens of my businesses. We know that with development, interruption and the construction, our businesses may see some decline in sales because that happened on Minnesota Avenue. It has happened in other areas of the city. So I am expecting that once that construction work begins, certain portions of Pennsylvania Avenue, the businesses will be impacted. So my first thing is to see how we can advocate to give them some sort of reprieve from any loss in economic loss they may assume as a result of the construction and the development. But also we know that we need to support those construction efforts, again, because having multiple layers of multiple modes of transportation help bring customers to the corridor. So it's kind of a balance. It's a case-by-case situation. One of the first things that we did when we saw the proposed cuts from WMATA along the 30 line buses is we were ready to advocate for those things that the community wanted. So being vigilant, keeping our ears to the ground, and ensuring that whatever is happening along the corridor helps to support the ecosystem for businesses along the corridor. I just have to be mindful that that is my role, that is my small little lane, that I am the spokesperson for the businesses and making sure that if they are impacted, how do we ease the impact if it's negative impact? I hope that answers your question, but that's kind of, again, just making sure that we are being, stewards of the resources that we do have coming in, leveraging those resources and making sure that, we're connecting the dots.
Yes, that does. Thank you.
And the survey is still available to June 1st for the circulator, Joan. And I can send the link to our communications director to put it on our website. Because Joan, God forgive us if we don't do the survey ourselves and let them know we're interested in the circulator. We got to help ourselves. God help those who help themselves. So I'll send that link because everybody has to June 1st. I even filled it out, even though I'm on construction sites all day in a truck. To the second project, like Tish said, I made sure she had everything she needs, the point of contact. The delay was done by our last president. I'm trying to say it nicely. He would not transfer the land required community members. He would not let the Secretary of Interior sign off on releasing that land to the District of Columbia at Lafayette Square. It is now moving forward since we have a new president, and they're hopeful in the next 3 to 6 months, land title and all of that will be transferred to the District of Columbia government and then transferred to DDOT for utilization.
Thank you, Mrs. Paul, for that update.
Any other questions for Tisha or Letitia? Well, okay. All right, Letitia. Hey, great presentation. I appreciate you coming out. It was really great seeing it. Cool.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to joining you more regularly in terms of updates as well.
All right. Great. Thank you. All right. Hey, yeah, at the start of the meeting, I forgot to express my condolences for the Evans family, because back on April 22nd, Mr. Kenneth Evans Jr., he passed away. And also for the Vaughn family, Miss Lois Vaughn, she passed away on April 25th. So they both have our condolences. Are there any questions from the community before we close this down? Yes, Marie.
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment, and just to let everybody know, and Tish, Ms. Atkins probably knows this already, but our Councilmember Gray, in his the communication that went out to the community, he shared the budget letter or the budget request for the ward, and it includes, I think, I'm not sure, and maybe Tish, you have this, 15 million to support pedestrian and cycling safety around the Minnesota Ave, Pennsylvania Avenue redesign. And so we really need to thank him for that support, because, you know, there were some questions about, you know, that the design perhaps wasn't as supportive as pedestrians and other sort of non-car related needs as it could have been. And so, you know, that will still go through a pretty significant process to get that money into the budget, but we really should thank him for that.
Cool, thank you. Hey, Letitia, I do have another question for you. I'm sure this is a no, but do you know, is there a laundromat coming into the area? I have a residents are asking me if the laundromat's going to get replaced, or if one's going to come up, a new one's going to get come up.
Not that I'm aware of. I know the current laundromat, I'm sure you all know CVS is going there, but I'm not familiar with another proposed laundromat.
All right, cool. Yeah, thank you for
Stan.
that. And yes.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to make one really quick comment. The Washington Business Journal actually has a really good article on the Penn Branch Shopping Center, and the fact that it's fully leased, and they have information about the different tenants coming in, and it was really good. I would share it, but
I can drop it in the chat. Someone sent it, my CEO sent it to me today.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much.
I'll find it.
Yeah, wow, pretty cool. Thank you. Are there any comments, not only questions or comments, before we close this down? Cool. I'll wait for Letitia to get that in the chat.
Yeah, hold on one second. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no pressure, no pressure. No. Cool. I'll tell you this, Letitia. It's like Vince Gray. He says you're doing great work. He has nothing but praises for you when he speaks about you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Right.
that.
It is amazing the amount of things you have done in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. It's fun work, and you know, the fact that I am a resident, you know, here, it makes all the difference, you know. I am trying to cut this. Let's see here. I think I got it now. I found it. I just need to get it.
Wait.
I got it. All right.
I'll attach this to the video when I post it on YouTube.
Okay, so I am dropping it into the chat now. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a direct message. Let me send it to everyone, actually. Okay. Okay, so it's in the chat for you there. Okay.
Great, thank you. And I also want to throw a thank you out to the block captains. Yeah, so thank you for delivering those newsletters, especially for the short notices we've been giving you. We're trying to, or at least, yeah, we're trying to get them out there like a week before, but that just hasn't happened. So I do appreciate you all getting those things out before the meeting. And I'll also say it's no big deal if you can't get out before the meeting. You know, just because I know you all have lives, or we know you all have lives, so just get them out when you can. All right. Okay. Well, at this point, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All right. Cool. All right, people. Yeah, I'm actually. It is convenient being here on Zoom, but I'm looking forward to seeing you in person in the meetings. You know, sometime hopefully soon. Hopefully after the summer break. All right. Have a nice night, all. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody stay safe.
Okay.
Yes, everybody stay safe. Yeah, see you in the park. See you in the park on the Saturday.
Okay.
Hey, Roma.
Hey, Stan.
Hello,
Thank
hello.
you. Thank you very much.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you.
Excellent.
All right, Ms. Hammond. I'm glad you can make it on here. You're muted. Hang on. You're muted. Can't hear you, Ms. Hammond. But I can see you. Yeah. Nope, still muted. Hang on. It's on the bottom. If you're on a computer, it's on the bottom left, I believe. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so
There
glad
you
I
go.
was able to get, so glad I was able to get on. Thank you for
All right.
sending me the link. Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Enjoyed the
All right.
meeting. Mhm.
All right, cool. Great.
All right.
Good night, Miss Dahl.
All right.
Right, yeah, good night, all.
Good night.
Bye-bye. As soon as I find his off button.